I was into punk, there was a kid at school named Mandai, and we would both bring little cassette recorders to school. And he would bring Jimi Hendrix over and over. And I would bring punk. I would bring like the Sex Pistols. I had a neighbor who, for some reason, I had a young girl, probably like 19 or 20, living right in the apartment right next door to me. And she had a pretty cool record collection where she had things like the Sex Pistols and Talking Heads and Joe Jackson and things that I was liking at the time. And so she was letting me go in her apartment even when she was at work. She gave me a key and I was allowed to go in her apartment and record records. So I recorded the Sex Pistols, Nevermind the Bullocks, and I would bring that to school. And Mandai and I would have these arguments. I would say that Sex Pistols were much more important band to music than Jimi Hendrix was to music. Like, I didn't really know. You know, I was open to it and interested in the discussion, but I used to make him really mad by saying the Sex Pistols were more important than Jimi Hendrix. And then it was when I moved to the Valley, all of a sudden, I got really into Jimi Hendrix. That was sort of like a turning point of me really, you know, having this thing that seemed a bit beyond my ability, whereas punk felt comfortable by this point, and this thing, there was a lot of mystery around it. You know, I would hear something like Little Wing, and I thought it was like 3 or 4 guitars, or at least I thought that he was making one guitar sound like 3 or 4 guitars. And I once went to an Indian reservation. They had a band there, and the guy was playing Little Wing, and I thought for some reason I had it in my head that nobody had ever figured out how to play this song on guitar. I thought playing Little Wing, I thought he had like cracked the code, you know. I thought it was this monumental thing that I was witnessing. And so it was, you know, moments like that that made me really be striving to uncover these secrets. I also remember playing for my guitar teacher the moment in the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock where you hear him feeding back on a note. He plays a note and it starts feeding back, and then the note, without him picking, the note suddenly becomes like an octave higher, and then he's moving the whammy bar a little bit, and then the note becomes an octave or 2 higher than that even. And so there's tons of things like that in his playing, you know, simple things like his vibrato and the way that he bent notes. I was striving to make my fingers strong enough to be able to make those sounds. So he was definitely, like, in those first years after being into punk, he was the person who I was striving to be able to emulate, you know. But yeah, he was the first for sure. Some of these techniques as being techniques that I came up with or something, because they're in Under the Bridge and Snow and other tunes that I've done in the band. These are all Jimi Hendrix techniques, you know, and people did them before him too. Curtis Mayfield was also doing this type of thing. There's some others that I noticed from time to time. But Jimi Hendrix definitely took these kind of techniques a long way.